Hello, and welcome back to You Don't Look It, a podcast where we basically hold you captive and we talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about, and
Yep,
you're
pretty
just
much.
stuck with it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's basically what it's gonna turn into, slash is already turning
Slash is
into.
already turning into. Wow, the
Yeah.
whole front of my sweatshirt is wet. What the fuck happened?
How did that happen?
I think I washed my face before I
Uh,
started this, and I just didn't realize it got water all over myself.
I do that. I revamped my whole skincare routine.
Look at you
I
go.
finally I have like 7 steps to it now.
Oh no, that's how it's done.
Hell yeah.
That's how it's done. I've brought mine down to 3 steps.
Oh wow.
Sometimes 4, but I used to have an 8-step skincare routine, and it would take me, like, not even kidding, like an hour.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I was really into the Korean skincare routines, and I had really bad cystic acne at the time, so like literally
Gotcha.
anything to help. And like I do like 2 different types of cleansers, like an oil cleanser and then a regular cleanser, and then I would do a toner, or a mask.
Yeah.
And I would do like serums and moisturizers and
Oh yeah, I got those
sunscreens.
serums.
The serums. I mean, like still in there with the Korean skincare shit, but
Yeah.
it's also very expensive. And
That's fair. Yeah, I brought
bitch is
all
poor.
my like stuff and I probably wasn't I mean I had some other stuff and I'll probably switch to ones with specific ingredients for some things, but like even with having some things, I paid $100 for the rest of my like skincare stuff.
Oh
And I was
yeah.
like, Lord, I'm like, you know what? I have my hair routine, down. I was like, I should probably have a better skin routine than
Do
what I
one thing at
have.
a time. Like if you're gonna revamp your whole life, like start with one thing, master it,
Exactly.
go to the next thing. Because if you try to fix
Yeah.
everything at once, it's not gonna go well.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, no. When I started my hair, I was like, I should do my skin. I'm like, okay, tone it down or you're gonna do nothing. Like, do one at a time or I'll get overwhelmed. So I did
Yeah.
that, and my friend, like, she revamped hers and she sent me like a couple articles, and I was like, okay, I think I can do it. But yeah, I've also got most of my Christmas shopping done, so I'm
Oh my
pretty
god,
impressed with myself.
proactive bitch. Wow.
I know. My mom sent me like, "Oh, this is an idea for something I want for Christmas." And then it just kind of made me think, you know what? Let's find out what other people want. So,
Yeah,
I have
smart.
most things purchased. I was browsing Chewy for Rudy's gifts. I think I want to do Hanukkah with him and then give him like one bigger gift on Christmas.
That'd be
Um,
cute. I
but
feel like now that you're like semi-Jewish because you're dating Steven,
right.
it's like you get 2 different really big fun holidays in one.
Right. Yeah, it's fun doing the candles and stuff. I don't know the words when we light them,
The
but it's fine.
I know it's a menorah, but I don't know what it's called when you
It's
light them.
actually a Hanukkah.
Oh, I stand corrected.
The menorahs have one fewer, like, so a Hanukkah has the one that you take and you light it with all of
Yeah.
them, but a menorah has one less candle.
Huh.
I know, wild. I didn't know that
Sick.
until Steven told me, so um
That's
that's what
that's
I've
noodles.
learned.
My whole world, I'm like, I took a class on Judaism. I should know this. This is bad. This is college education for you guys.
Yay! I'm trying to think what I feel like I had more. Oh my god, I've been playing Among Us. That's a pretty addicting game.
I know, and I've been told to get it, but I'm not gonna get it till I get a new laptop because this big old bitch is gonna
Well, you
tap
can play
out
on your
soon.
phone. I play on my phone.
That's true, but also I have a thesis paper
That's
due,
also
and I
true.
haven't been writing it. So
I probably shouldn't try and convince you. I made friends. I made a friend from Macedonia. I made a
oh,
friend
cool,
from the UK. I made a friend from Norway. Yeah, made some friends. So that's pretty cool. So we all
nice.
go into like voice chat on Discord.
I know this
And
isn't like
I'll play.
related, but like speaking of other countries, mainly the UK, I talked to
Yeah.
my advisor recently because this is my last semester,
Yeah.
and I have to take 20 credits in one semester. Don't ask me how
Woo!
I'm gonna pull that one off. I only have one required class left, but
Oh wow, nice.
I have like a bunch of credits outside of that I still need to get.
Okay.
And I've taken all my GEPs, and I dropped my minor because I didn't think I could handle it. So now I'm just gonna take a bunch of 101 classes.
Hell yeah. Party up.
But I was like, yeah, because we are talking about grad school and like what I want to do, and I'm like, yeah, I might take a year off because I'm still really sick and we don't know what's wrong with me. But I
Yeah.
was thinking of going to grad school in Canada, and gaining citizenship through that. And she's like, yes, do it. I also suggest the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. And I'm like, you know what? I did foreign study in
Ooh,
Australia. I would love to go
right.
back. And New Zealand is a place I've always wanted to go. And I really have no qualms about moving to New Zealand.
That's fair. That's fair. But Canada is also closer to me. And plus, if
Yeah.
I end up moving to Canada at some point, boom.
Part of the reason I want to go to Canada is because it is close to the US. And if I were to get my degree there and I wanted to move somewhere else to treat patients, I could treat
Hmm.
anywhere within the Commonwealth. So
That's true.
that would include Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, and a few other
Boom.
countries, I'm sure.
See, this is some good shit. I mean, I'm getting my degree from a foreign country. I mean, I'm not there, obviously,
Does that
but
give you like access to gaining citizenship in any
I
way?
really don't think so. But
Yeah, it really
but that
it
would be
really depends on
nice.
the country. I really haven't looked into gaining citizenship in New Zealand. I looked at it a little bit for Australia after I did foreign study there because I was like,
Yeah.
you know what, I just don't want to come back home.
I don't want to
Like,
go home.
I don't want to go home. I want to stay here.
That's funny. No, I feel that though. The election is coming up. Oh, great stuff. Hopefully
I'm
we vote him out, but time will tell.
yeah. We're moving to an island too before the election. Like
Really?
yeah, because I told you we were moving houses.
Yeah.
And so we're moving to like a really like not even kidding a deserted island. It has one grocery store and one hardware store, and that's it.
Oh my lord.
And I'm a little happy about it because there's like I don't know population of like 300, and I can just hide there. If things go to shit, nobody is coming here for any
I bet
reason.
there's like that sounds like a scene like the setting for a terrible horror movie. Not like a
Oh yeah,
terrible like a scary one.
there's no main roads that go there. Like you
Thank
can't take a
God.
highway there. There is no like state highway that goes there. You have to take back roads to get there. I'm not even sure if there's a hospital on the island.
Oh great.
I think there is one school, and I think it does grades like elementary to high school, and that's it. Like, and it's all in one building.
You're gonna get serial killed.
I know. Everyone's probably sitting there like, that sounds like a third world country. Are you sure that's America? And I'm like, that's exactly the definition of America. That sounds like a third world country.
Oh my god. It's true though. Oh jeez. How far away is it from where you live now?
4 hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So, what happens when I come down to visit? That's a 4-hour fucking drive, bitch.
Oh yeah, I know. And I'm like, I feel really bad, but like I want you guys to visit because it's close to the beach and there's a lot of trails and
That's fair. That is
like
fair.
it's
Okay.
there's like a lot of wildlife and nature preserves and
Now that sounds majestic.
yes, it's gorgeous. And like one of my friends, her mother was like, yeah, you should bring Danny up to Colorado to like visit for Christmas or for your birthday, or I could send you down there. And I'm like, honestly, I'm good with either. But I'm just going to
Right.
let you know that I'm going to be living in the middle of nowhere. So if you want to be in the middle of nowhere to get the fuck away from your family,
Right.
welcome. I'm happy to have you. We have so much
Join.
space.
That's funny. That's awesome though. All right, I'm intrigued now. I'm intrigued. Sounds good to me.
I'll send you pictures. It's really pretty.
Ooh, please do. Trying to think if anything else has been up in my life. Anything new in yours?
Not really, other than like, I guess I'm going on a pack walk with Ivar's trainer tomorrow up in
Ooh,
the
that'll be
mountains.
nice.
I'm excited, but
Ooh.
I'm probably gonna fall down a lot.
Wow, that's a mood.
Yeah, my legs are like so weak, and my like joints are so weak that like sometimes I stand up and I can feel my hip joints like giving,
Oh, great.
and I'm like
Great
the only thing
stuff.
holding me up right now is muscle, and that's like kind of caving. So
Is my will. That's the only thing really holding me up.
really just willpower and like tape and some braces sometimes.
Yep, there we go. That'll do it.
So we're gonna see. Ivar's never gone hiking and had to do mobility tasking before
Gotcha.
because bitch doesn't go hiking because bitch cannot hike. So, he works really well off leash, and he's really good about following commands when I take him into the woods to like run around.
Right.
But I don't know how well his focus is gonna be with a bunch of other dogs in the
That's fair.
woods. So we'll see.
It'll be nice that it's with this trainer, so that will be really great training opportunities if his focus isn't what you want it to be at the time.
And she's not technically a service dog trainer, but honestly, like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't work with service dogs if you think it's like training any other dog. And I'm like, I don't think it's like training any other dog, but I definitely think that pet dog trainers can achieve a lot of the things that service dog trainers can achieve because
I agree.
it's the same concept really. And all I've done,
And there are a lot of behaviors that you want the same as well.
yeah,
Like you want
like,
your dog to focus on you at times, like be the number one person on their mind when you're out in the woods, you know? Like
yeah. And like I'm a personal believer that like you can train a pet dog to be just as well behaved in public as a service dog. Like,
right.
yes, it's different because your life does not depend on your pet dog behaving well, but
Right.
you can expect your dog to sit when told, to shut the fuck up when told,
Right.
to not react to other dogs, to pay attention to you. Like, it's possible. So when people are like washing their dogs because their dog can't, chill the fuck out, I'm like, guys, not to
Yeah.
say that you made the wrong call, but like, I promise you it's possible. But then again, not
Right.
everybody has the skill set to do that or can afford
That's
a trainer.
fair.
So,
True. Or can find a good trainer.
yeah, finding a good trainer is key because we've been through some bad ones that have caused him to have behavioral problems that we had to later fix.
I had that with my last service dog in training. The trainer we took him to was not great. I didn't realize till after.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, I've definitely fucked up a lot with Ivar. He has like issues that I 100% caused, without a doubt.
I feel that.
And I'm like, yeah, I can't even get mad at him for behaving like that because I did that to him.
Right.
So now I have to fix it. But if you can fuck up your dog, you can unfuck your dog. So
true.
remember, folks, you can unfuck your dog.
God. Oh, God. Just if you hear that one line, it just so out of context.
I know.
The most uncomfortable thing.
I just realized how bad that sounded too. And I was like, bitch.
YOLO.
YOLO, whatever. It's 2013 now.
It's
I'm saying YOLO.
I say YOLO all the damn time.
Same. I sound like an old ass lady because I'm like, somebody
YOLO.
said the drip the other day, and I'm like, what? They said respect the drip, and I'm like, what the fuck is the drip?
Oh, me though. I saw that on like I don't even know Redbubble or something. I was like, what?
I've got YOLO down. I've got that.
Right.
Like, the fuck is the drip?
Yeet.
I got yeet. It took me forever to get yeet. I got it though.
I love yeet now.
I know, same. And then whenever my friend says the drip, he does this motion where it's like a T pose, but he puts his forearms down to the ground, and then he'll hunch over things, and he'll be like, "Respect the drip," and I'm like, Albert, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, what's happening? What's going on? Where am I?
Where am I? I don't.
What
I live in a fever dream.
Right? God. Oh my lord. So, what do you have for me today? What you got?
Okay, I have the story of Juliana Tefana. Or nope, that's not the name. Julia Tefana.
Ooh, don't know who that is.
It's Julia spelled with a G, and it's spelled Guilia.
Okay.
And so it looks like Juliana. She's Italian.
Gotcha.
Which is why it's spelled like this.
Fair.
She's also known as La Tofana. She was born in Palermo, Sicily, in 1620.
How's that spelled?
Palermo?
Yeah.
Palermo. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. I am absolutely positive I'm pronouncing it wrong. I don't got this.
What a mood, honestly. I was like, sounds kind of familiar. Yeah, I have no idea.
She's Sicilian.
She's Sicilian.
Sicilian. Sorry. I am a nonsense person.
Yeehaw.
Juliana still remains like largely a mystery. There are no surviving portraits of her, and a lot of information about her is pretty sparse, with the exception of some court documents and basically diary entries from other people.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
Or journal entries. I think she also kept some journals, which is where they got this information from. Historians being they. She was said to be very beautiful, though, but I love how they always say that they're really beautiful, but there's no portraits, and like she's a little bit of an urban legend, and we're not sure if she's real.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
So I think it's awesome. She spent most of her younger years in apothecaries, which, if you don't know, it's
Ooh,
basically like a medieval pharmacy.
yeah,
This was like the
that's wild.
Renaissance. This is like
It's
the end of the
honestly wild
Renaissance.
to me that like I'm just like trying to picture medieval pharmacy type things.
It's really just a bunch of herbs. Like they
Right,
just have a bunch of like
just
crushed up
chilling.
herb.
Like which one you want?
Which one you want? This one will make you high. This one will make you hallucinate. Which one you want to cure your cold? Like,
Yes. Like pick your poison.
pick your poison. Literal poison or
Yeah.
hallucinogenics. You have a cold, so pick
Exactly.
wisely. A cold could kill you, but so could
It's true.
hallucinogenics.
That's true.
Yeah. Because a lot of people just been dying of like the common cold in the
Right.
Renaissance. Like
That's true. That's quite fair.
pretty usual thing. Um in these apothecaries, she learned how to make medicines and potions, and poisons, some say.
Ooh.
She was one of the most successful poisoners in history and killed an estimated 600 men or more.
Holy shit, that's a lot.
I know. She, like, because this is like a little bit of an urban legend and we're only kind of sure she exists, I guess
Yeah.
this wasn't in the history books as the most successful female poisoner,
Yeah.
because we have no true documentation of it
Fair. Yeah.
that's like super reliable. She's believed to be the daughter of Tofania di Admao. Tofania di Admao. I don't know, guys.
This is
I'm not
like me
Italian.
trying to pronounce that guy with the like 72 different French names. Well, I was like, oh, nope, that was only half his name.
We're gonna give you a nickname, buddy, because I don't got it.
I feel that.
Anyway, her mother was executed in July of 1633 for murdering her husband.
Oh, so it runs in the family.
Yeah. Well, Juliana did kill. I didn't mention it yet, but Julia did kill her husband.
Oh, then it really runs in the family.
It really runs in the family. It really runs in the family hard because her daughter is involved in this as well.
Oh, damn.
She was a widow and she had one daughter, Giroloma Spara. Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to refer to her as the daughter because I am at a loss. I'm so sorry, guys.
The daughter. Little Julia.
The daughter. Little Julia Jr. Little
GJ.
Not much is known about little Julia Jr. But we do know little Julia Jr. followed in her mother's footsteps.
Ooh, fun stuff.
Little goodies. The pair later moved to Naples after she murdered her husband, following the steps of her mother, Julia Sr. And they later moved to Rome, where Julia expanded her cosmetics business. So Julia was making cosmetics at the time.
What kind of cosmetics? Like all kinds, or did she have a specialty?
They didn't really specify, and it was really, like, I guess it'd be pretty common for apothecaries to also be making cosmetics because it was really just crushed up plant matter that they were turning.
Come, make your skin nice and soft by smearing the blood of your enemies on your face.
Or actual lead, because that's what they've been doing.
True.
Brighten your skin with lead. Don't worry about the, like, acid hole burns in your face in the blood poisoning.
You're fine. That's part of it.
Lead poisoning is just a part of it, girl. It's that youthful glow of lead poisoning. It's
Beauty
fine.
hurts.
Beauty hurts, bitch, and lead is the way to go, okay?
It's the way. It's the answer.
There we go. Arranged marriages. I realize I say a lot. I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh, it's fine. I do too sometimes, and I mean, I can always cut them out.
Thank you. I listened to it the other day, and I'm like, I really gotta chill with the ums. Arranged marriages were really common at the time, and wives were seen as property that men can do absolutely anything to, and divorce was not an option, so you stuck with them.
So murder was.
Murder was your only way out. Or you could just choose not to get married at all, which is really hard if you are the property of your father.
That's fair.
You could choose to be a sex worker, which is also very hard if you were the property of your father.
Also probably pretty dangerous at the time as well.
Oh yeah, super dangerous. Nobody really, I mean, kind of dangerous today too, because we don't have laws protecting
Yeah.
sex workers. So
True. Very true.
a fucking scary profession.
Yeah.
So murder was pretty much the only way they could have freed themselves from an abusive marriage without having to worry about what happens next.
Mm.
So once the abusive husbands were disposed of, women would be able to live freely as a well-off widow without the fear of having their children being separated from them, their possessions being taken, or being sold off into another loveless marriage. I am so sorry, Eddie is losing his shit at something probably stupid that doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist.
He's probably barking at nothing.
He's like, "What's happening?"
He's
Wolf?
like, I don't. Sometimes we just let him outside, and he just sits on the porch and just barks.
Wow.
Not even trying to get outside, just barks into the wind. I'm like, I hate you. You drive me
screaming
crazy.
into the abyss.
It's literally all it is. He just screams.
Oh my god.
Okay, sorry. You might have to cut that out. Many women turned to murdering their husbands as well because they feared dying in childbirth. So birth control's not really a thing at the time. And you could have pretty much as many children as you could have without dying. Or before you got too old to have kids.
That's fair. That's yeah, that makes
sense. So women would have like, 7 children and they'd be like,
I'm impressed they survived that.
Right? I'm like, even modern day women, like,
right?
The amount of mothers that die in childbirth, like, in modern America, fucking terrifying. Not acceptable.
Baffling. Yeah.
And I know it's something that could be prevented because we're not seeing the same thing in other countries.
That's true. That's a good point.
Especially countries that have, like, the medical advances we have.
Right.
So.
Lord.
Love that. Capitalism, folks.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. So they would kill their husbands because, husbands lead to children, unfortunately. And
the best birth control.
If you don't want to die in childbirth, your only option of birth control at the time was to murder your husband.
Oh my god.
Oh, and so how will we murder our husbands? Poison, ladies. Poison.
Don't want to get your hands dirty? We got the poison.
We got the poison. And then you just have to watch him slowly die.
Oh my god.
Like a bug on a fly trap.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Poison was known as the women's weapon of choice and was a common murder method for women in Europe at the time.
That's a common one for women now, too.
Oh, yeah. For sure. In Versailles from 1677 to 1682, King Louis XIV had a series of murders within his court known as the Affair of Poisons, which led to the expulsion of his powerful royal social companion, Madame de Montespan, and the execution of a very skilled potion maker, Madame Montvision.
That sounds pretty mystical, if I do say so myself.
Honestly, I might have to look into that because I just ran across that when one of these articles was talking about like other large poisonings that were happening at the time.
Right.
And I was like, shit.
I apologize if you can hear Rudy barking.
It's okay. We heard Eddie lose his goddamn marbles earlier, so.
YOLO.
Julia was also a master poisoner and had perfected her own poison known as aqua tofana.
Ooh, that's a snazzy name.
Right? It sounds like a really nice perfume.
It really does. Oh my god, let's make it.
Let's make a perfume commercial, and then we're never, like, you know how perfume commercials just don't make any fucking sense?
Right, yes!
We're just posing with aqua tofana, like, oh, look at this. This is so, like, you don't know what we're advertising. We're advertising murder. We're advertising poison. But you don't know that.
You don't know that.
You don't know that.
Perfume. It's oh my god. It's like a dual perfume poison. But, like, also probably shouldn't be making poison.
I mean, like, it's an aerosol poison, so, like, spray it.
Okay, that's fair. It's like this stuff. It's like, okay, it's perfume, but also, like, it's kind of like regular perfumes. You shouldn't drink it, or that won't be good. It.
Yeah, I mean, you might throw up, you might have a seizure. I don't really know what's in perfume. So
let's trademark that perfume.
And there we go. And now,
boom.
And we sell it, and we're like, oh, it's an urban legend thing. You know, we're basing our perfumes off urban legends. Wrong, it's poison.
Oh my lord. Let's fucking do it.
Let's do it. For legal reasons, we're not poisoning people. But
no. But
let's do it.
Urban legend perfume line, Slender Man.
Honestly, I've always thought it'd be a really cool idea to do like a cryptid makeup line or like an
Yes.
urban legend makeup line.
My lord, let's do it. I have absolutely no knowledge of the field,
Oh,
but
same.
I have the creativity.
Same. We're gonna lose more money than we'll ever make, but it'll be fine.
Exactly.
It'll work.
No one take this. It's trademarked, okay?
Yeah, trademark, copyrighted right now. I'm putting the C on it as we're
Yep.
speaking. The little C with the circle, so you can't take it.
Exactly. Boom. Done.
Done right now. Aqua Tofana was believed to be laced with arsenic, belladonna, and lead. And
that's a big mixture.
Oh yeah,
my
that's a mixture. I'm sure it had other components in it, but that's what they think was in it,
Yeah.
based on the symptoms. Belladonna was a berry, and in small amounts.
Don't it make you high?
No, its juice was. I think it does actually. I think
I watched this movie and they took
used it to get high.
Yeah, like it was kind of like an opioid.
Belladonna was a berry, and small amounts of its juice was often used to dilate the eyes because dilated eyes were seen as like strikingly attractive back then.
It's like, I'm on that coke.
Like, yeah, I know. Like nowadays, it's like you are high as fuck, lady. Madam,
right, it's like...
madam, you are too high to be here.
It's like,
but back then,
you sit down for a hot sec.
Sit the fuck down, woman. But back then, like they're like, oh yes, this is gorgeous. Like, look at these big saucer eyes. You don't look scary at all.
God.
Hey, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm recording a podcast. I can't play with you right now.
He's like, love me.
He stuck his arm in my armpit, his face in my armpit. And I'm like,
oh my god. That is adorable. I love when Reedy does that.
He's taken to alerting me by putting his chin on my butt.
I saw that video earlier. That was so funny. He's like, hello?
He's like, oh. And I thought he was joking. Like, I thought he wanted my food or something.
Right.
But it was a real alert, and I was like,
That's
oh, okay.
Funny.
And he started screaming at me, and I'm like, okay, sir. Ivar, can you kennel? Thanks, baby.
What a good boy.
What a good man. It's going to take me forever to get through this paragraph about Aqua Tofana.
Aqua Tofana! That's why I named my first kid.
Same. I'll name mine Aqua, you name yours Tofana.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Lead and arsenic were often used in cosmetics at the time to lighten the skin. And it would be either in a powdered form, most commonly in a powdered form, but it could also be found in the liquid form. So this really didn't raise a lot of suspicion, especially because belladonna was such a common ingredient in cosmetics at the time.
Makes sense.
Sorry, my dog is still trying to be a hoe.
It's all good.
Aqua Tofana was believed to be created by Julia's mother and passed down to her. Although she could have learned how to make poison during her time at apothecaries. We're really not sure. We don't have great records on this. I'd like to believe that she just learned it in apothecaries because that would make a lot more sense.
It's also kind of wild if it was like passed down from generation.
That would be really cool if it was passed down for generations, but her mother got caught. Which makes me think that like maybe she poisoned him with something that was more obvious.
Right, that's true.
Because she got away with 600 murders with this. It's not easily detectable.
Right, yeah. Damn.
It was impressive. Clear, tasteless liquid, which only took 4 to 6 drops to kill. It looked like a typical women's cosmetic product or religious oil. So it was first disguised as powdered makeup, and then as a healing ointment, disguised in a small vial labeled as Manna of St. Nicholas of Bari. And it looked like a little tiny, like, devotional object. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in a Catholic church, but they have this little, like, they're like essential oils kind of thing. And you, like, put it on your wrist. I think I know what
you're talking about. Oh, this sounds familiar. Yeah.
I'm not sure I know what I'm talking about. But my Oma is Catholic, so...
Maybe I'm not. Who knows?
Maybe I'm not. I mean, my Oma is Catholic, but she's not, like, super Catholic.
Gotcha.
She converted to Catholicism when World War II happened, so she wouldn't get yanked. So I don't. She's not really a practicing Catholic, so I think I know what that is, but I'm not quite sure.
We'll Google it later.
Yeah, we'll find out. The liquid and powdered formulas allowed the poison to easily be mixed into food or drinks, which was really convenient, as women mostly did the cooking.
That makes sense.
The poison was slow acting, and almost impossible to detect. Obviously, would be easier to detect now because arsenic attaches to keratin in your body, which makes up your skin, or not your skin, your hair and your nails. I think part of your
Yep.
skin too. But it makes the hair and the nails really brittle, so it'd be present in the body long after death.
Fun stuff.
So don't be poisoning people with arsenic because they will catch you.
Arsenic apparently also smells like almonds, but only
Oh,
some
yeah, it does.
people can smell it.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. I
It's like
don't know
if
if you
you
ever
have a
did the
certain
smell
gene.
test. I don't know if you ever did the smell test thing in class, but they had one of those things where you couldn't smell it unless you had a certain gene.
I don't think we did that. That would have been fun though.
Yeah, I remember doing that in middle school. It was really fun.
I want to know if I can smell arsenic so I can tell
Get some
people
rat
are gonna get
poison.
poisoned.
I don't know
Is
if
there
they still
arsenic?
sell it. They might
Rat
not.
poison?
Yeah,
Oh,
no, arsenic rat poison. I don't know if they still sell it.
Oh, yeah. I also
Because
feel
it's
like
so
from buying
dangerous.
that shit, like if I'm just what if I'm watch me Google like arsenic for sale, immediately a red flag for everyone.
Like, you're on a watch list now. You're welcome.
It's like, don't worry, I just want to smell it, guys.
I
I
just
don't
want
want
to
to use
smell
it.
it. Just go to like we have like poison shops here for like do-it-yourself
What?
pest control kind of stuff.
Oh, I don't know if
Yeah.
that's a thing
But
here.
no, they have them all over the place. Like, you can buy like Towstar and other poisons to, like, you know,
I've
poison
never
bugs in your
knowingly
house.
encountered one of these places.
My dad is like a do-it-yourself kind of dude. So
Fair.
like, he's not gonna call Oregon. He's gonna fucking do it himself.
What a guy.
So, only reason I know that because I seen him walk around spraying shit in the house. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, it's poison. Don't touch it till it's dry. And I'm like, well, where do I put the dogs now? I guess.
Right.
Like, shit.
Like, okay.
The poison was slow acting and almost impossible to detect. It would cause flu-like symptoms, making it look like men were dying of a progressive illness or dying of natural causes. Symptoms would often go unnoticed at first because they would be so small. The first dose usually created cold-like symptoms, and the third would cause vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration, and a burning sensation in the stomach.
Oh, fun stuff.
Right. The fourth dose would kill them.
Oh, yay. Great.
So typically they would only put 1 to 2 drops in the food or drink every day until it killed them.
Gotcha.
Which is why, you know, you don't give them like 6 drops off the bat, because then that looks really suspicious.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This also helped avoid suspicion because it looked like they were just dying of a natural cause.
That's like impressive that
Yeah.
she was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do this quick. We're going to do it slow. So, you know, I gotta.
Oh, she
avoid
has a
that
whole thing to
suspicion.
cover her ass that I'm going to get into.
Oh, snap.
So during this time, it's pretty common for people to die of illness, and
Yep.
people, if they knew they were sick, would write a will because they're like, well, we can't cure this. We don't know what this is. So if I die, I need to have this prepared. And most people were really deeply religious. And oftentimes people would repent if they were on their deathbed for pretty much any of their sins. So this would bring a lot of closure to the women because the men would be like, I'm sorry for beating my wife. Or I'm sorry for, you know, drinking to excess.
Yeah.
And so it would give the women a little bit of closure. And then it would also bring closure to the wife because they knew he was going to go to heaven now. Because if you're like a devout Catholic and you start repenting all your sins, you're like, oh, you know, this person has a better chance of getting to heaven now.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of nice, at least. Like,
right.
I mean, you're killing them, so that's not good. But at least it's like, oh, I have the closure, and I have the sense that my husband's going to go to heaven, even though he was a terrible person.
Fair.
So,
great stuff.
Great stuff. Her clients were very, very protective of her. They would never send anyone Julia's way if they thought there was any chance that person might tell the authorities. Also, if Julia were exposed, not only would she go down, but so would her clients.
People hired her?
Yes.
Oh,
well,
so she's a hitman, kind of.
Kind of. So Julia was very careful about the people she sold Aqua Tofana to. She did extreme background checks, and new clients would have to have people vouch for them. Mm-hmm. And so she sold mostly to women, but also to men too. Depending on circumstance, she was really empathetic towards women who were stuck in arranged marriages that were really abusive or,
Right.
just not healthy. Her cover business was selling cosmetics, so many people would buy regular cosmetics from her as well. So she was probably making most of her money from regular cosmetics
Gotcha. Okay.
because of this extreme background check. She would also coach many of the women on how to act when their husbands died or when doctors visited, as
Wow.
to avoid suspicion.
Damn.
Yeah. She would have the women put on a huge show of stress and anxiety when the doctors showed up. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
my husband's going to die. Nobody's going to provide for me. I'm really, really worried about him. I'm really upset. My kids are not going to have a father, kind of thing.
Damn.
Yeah. And then most importantly, once they died, they were to demand an autopsy. Like,
Shit.
go, something wasn't right here. He died really fast. I'm really worried about him. Like, or like, I want to know if my kids are going to catch this too. And they would
Right.
demand an autopsy. Because a lot of the times the doctor would come and he'd be like, oh, this isn't a big deal. It's a little cold. I'll give you this medication. And then the doctor would come back and it's like, okay, you're not getting any better. You're getting way worse. This is really weird. I've
Yeah.
seen this illness a million times. It's never done this. Which is why the autopsy was so important. Because it would be like, oh, the doctor made me worried now. And now I think something is fishy. So I'm going to demand an autopsy.
So they wouldn't suspect the wife at all.
Yeah. And obviously the autopsy would yield no results because they had no way to test for arsenic poisoning at the time.
Right.
And, people were drinking out of lead cups, eating from lead plates, had it in their makeup. It wasn't weird.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So lead poisoning was, found in living people. Wasn't weird. At the time, they thought it was some kind of influenza outbreak.
Ooh.
Because there was really no other explanation.
Right. That would have been kind of scary at the time as well.
Right? I mean, I would have freaked
shit.
out. I'm like, shit, this
Right.
is really contagious. People are dropping like flies.
Right.
Where am I in my notes? Aha. To protect herself further, she started adding instructions to Aqua Tofana. And the instructions were usually labeled on the bottle or given to women on a card. And this was to divert suspicion if the woman's home were to ever be searched by the authorities. And because she would put, some of the ingredients on the bottle, like contains belladonna. And most investigators would see that it had belladonna and lead in it, and they really wouldn't think twice about it being a regular beauty product.
Right. Makes sense.
And they probably didn't really start searching homes until things started getting a little bit suspicious.
Everyone started dying.
Everyone started dying, and weirdly enough, it was only men.
Yeah.
So, what's going on? But nobody could find anything because it was a really common beauty product at the time.
Right.
And it would have instructions like, put under your eyes, 2 drops under your eyes every night kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, she's like, no, I've been using it as instructed. This wasn't me.
Right.
Wasn't me at all.
Damn, that's impressive that she's thinking through all these things.
Bitch was smart. She did this for 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, some sources say she did it for 50, but the timeline doesn't make sense. So I think it's probably more like 20. And it wasn't until the 1650s when she got a new client who purchased Aqua Tofana, passed the background checks and stuff, had people vouch for her. She poisoned her husband's soup with 2 drops and then suddenly felt really guilty about it after he had gotten a few sips in and started yelling at him to stop eating the soup. Oh, obviously, he got a little bit suspicious by this,
like, the fuck?
And she refused to tell him why. So he held her down and beat the shit out of her.
Oh my god.
To which case, I probably wouldn't have told him anything. I probably would have said something like, I'm pretty sure it's expired or some shit. Because I feel like somebody beating you is kind of like proven to the point that like they're going to continue to be abusive. But
yeah, it's fair. But I don't know if not everyone thinks that way.
Not everyone thinks that way, especially if you're in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not really thinking straight. Clearly, because murder was apparently the number 1 choice.
True.
So
fair.
She confessed to trying to poison him, and he took her to the authorities in Rome. I think at this point, They're in Venice. No. Fuck. I didn't write
Did you
down where
say
they
Naples? Versailles, Naples.
Versailles. Naples. They're in Naples.
Naples. Okay.
Fuck. Brain. Out the window. At this point, they're in Naples, so he took her to Rome to the authorities, and the authorities tortured her and killed her.
Rude.
Yeah. And she confessed it was Juliana, and I'm just assuming they just killed her after they got the confession.
Oh my
for trying to murder her husband.
That's fucked.
Word got back to Julia before the authorities could reach her. So she ran to a church with her daughter and asked for sanctuary, which was granted to them.
Ooh.
But the case got out and started sparking a lot of major rumors that got completely out of hand.
Oh, gosh.
One of which was that Juliana had poisoned the water supply in Rome.
Oh, Jesus.
Right? I'm like, guys.
That's aggressive.
That's a little aggressive. Okay, she was trying to get women out of abusive relationships and marriages.
Right.
Like, not poison everybody in Rome, but fuck it, I guess. God. Wasn't even in Rome when it happened, but fuck it, I guess.
Oh my God.
So, and I think, actually, no, I think she did have a shop in Rome, so that she would have been there, but it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
Word got out where she was hiding, and an angry mob stormed the church demanding for Juliana. The church handed her over because, not going to deal with that. And the authorities tortured her until she confessed.
Oh.
She confessed to killing over 600 men from 1633 to 1651. The number is believed to be even higher. And she also named a few of her clients, I'm assuming some of which she did not like or something. She claimed that she couldn't remember all the clients, which if you killed over 600 men and they were all married to somebody, like...
That's fair.
You can't remember them all. It's just not going to happen. She was executed with her daughter and 3 of her employees.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's sad. What did her daughter have to... Oh, wait. Didn't you say her daughter...
Oh, her daughter was involved. Her daughter would go into town and, like... look for women who were in bad situations with their husbands and kind of like recruit them. So
damn.
Yeah.
That's some wild shit.
And it was mostly out of empathy, like, hey, you have no other options. And
right.
If your husband's wealthy, you're set for life because nobody can, I don't think they remarried much in that time if you're a widow. And you were pretty much left everything if you didn't have an adult child or specifically an adult son.
Right. That's fair.
So, yeah. And she was murdered with her daughter and 3 employees in Rome's Field of Flowers, which is basically a paved over square, which is where many people were hanged and burned at the stake.
What a name. What?
Right?
Sounds much better than it is.
I think it's because it was a really beautiful field of wildflowers and they paved over it and started killing people there. And now you can get an Airbnb there.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
No, I'm not kidding you. And now there's like all these little shops and shit and like...
That's where we open our perfume store.
Right?
Perfect.
The sign of an urban legend. Beautiful.
Exactly. Oh my God. Perfection.
Gorgeous. Some of her clients were arrested. However, it was really hard to determine who knew it was poison and who thought it was cosmetics. Because I think at this point she was also selling a fake Aqua Tofana that was literally just belladonna for dilating your eyes.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So it was really hard to tell, first of all, which one of those was poison and which one of those was makeup. And then it was hard to tell which person knew it was makeup and which person knew it was poison.
True, that's fair.
So,
damn.
Yeah.
Problematic.
A little problematic. But those who were executed were bricked into the dungeons of the Palace of the Holy Office and were executed as well.
I don't like that. No.
Some were bricked into the dungeons alive and some were just flat out executed.
Jesus Christ. I don't even know which would be worse. Probably bricked in.
Probably bricked in. I don't think I would freak out.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Some people believe she was completely innocent, didn't do any of it, and only claimed to poisoning people because she was being tortured. which
is fair. There's
fair.
research that's been done that a lot of the stuff people say under duress and torture is
completely
isn't
false.
true.
Yeah. And they've actually convicted people and sent absolutely innocent people to jail because
Yep.
they weren't even tortured, but the police were putting so much pressure on them to confess and were leading to them to a confession.
Yeah, we talked about that in my forensic psychology class I took in undergrad. Well,
I'd love to take one of those classes.
That was my major, forensic psychology.
That's fucking awesome. I wish we offered that. My school was too small for that.
It was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But, damn.
And at the time, it was, there's a major witch hunt in pretty much all of Europe. And anything involving women doing anything outside domestic duties was incredibly suspicious, especially if you worked in an apothecary. Looks very, very suspicious.
Gosh, oh my lord, no, I can't. Witch.
Witch. And eventually Aqua Tofana just became an urban legend, and the composer Mozart was actually convinced that he had been poisoned with Aqua Tofana on his deathbed, which is not true. Historians believe that it was most likely complications from syphilis that killed him.
That's why you always have protected sex, Mozart.
Yeah. I mean, he could have been born with syphilis too, because there was no cure for it. So
that's very true.
Yeah. So it's pretty common to die of syphilis as well, and it probably wasn't Aqua Tofana, but people were so terrified of it because it was colorless, it was odorless, it was tasteless,
right.
It looked like water.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Anything could have been happening. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people were fucking terrified of this.
That's wild.
Right?
Honestly, impressive though.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought it was really cool, but not cool because people died. But
that's fair, yeah.
I get where they're coming from though. If divorce is not an option.
Oh, yeah.
And you're being literally beat half to death every day, I get it.
Right, yeah. No, I feel that. Damn. Well, I like that. That was a good one.
Thank you. I stumbled upon it on TikTok.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, snap.
Love it. I follow a lot of historical stuff on TikTok. And so every once in a while, one of these spicy stories will come across my feed.
Spicy.
Spicy.
I do appreciate a good spicy story.
Me too.
Yeah, I like that. That was good. I've never heard anything about that one.
Yeah, me either.
Well, I got some fun stuff for you. I was gonna do a Ratcha-Cha Part 2, but I decided to do something a little spooky scary because it's getting close to Halloween.
Hell yeah, scare the shit out of me before I start working on my thesis paper.
It's really not that scary, but still good.
I mean, hopefully it's never as bad as that last one I had.
God, nothing will ever be as bad as that damn dream. That nightmare, I should say. Okay, let's see. I have a couple, so I'm just going to talk about kind of my ghostly encounters, which are few and far between, but, they happen. So, my mother, oh my god. Well, first, I remember one time for Christmas, my Christmas gift from my aunt was literally an EMF detector.
What the fuck? What? Why?
I like paranormal stuff and supernatural stuff, so they're like, hey, and so they gave me an EMF detector. I can't talk, and a list of haunted places in Maine. So
what the fuck? That's actually amazing, but what the fuck?
I know. So I would just use it around the house. Never went off unless I was near the microwave when it was on, obviously, but that's not a ghost.
That's absolutely the microwave.
So that's where I first started. So one time I went on a ghost walk with my friend Ellen and her mom, and so we went to this old fort in Maine. It was Fort Kent or something like that, and we went and they did all this exploring. It wasn't anything that wasn't super exciting. It was fun. But there was one person where they're like, oh, we need someone with a ponytail. They're like, because he likes to touch the shorter hair. And I'm like, what is
What?
happening? So someone said they felt they got touched. I didn't say anything. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. I'm very much the person where I believe in this stuff. But also, if someone's like, this place is haunted, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to believe that this place is haunted until I experience it.
Oh yeah, same. I have seen spirits, like complete full apparitions, and I've been suspicious of it. I'm like, I don't think that's real. Like, and like,
yeah,
the only reason that like I think it is real is because I've hallucinated before, and it is very different from like a hallucination. And
it's a good comparison then.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can totally see how people would think it was a hallucination if they've never hallucinated before. And I've also been like checked by several psych professionals on whether or not I am actively hallucinating, and I am not. So
guess what? I'm not. Hey.
Guess what? I'm not. So that actually kind of horrifies me.
That's fair. Okay, so the next thing we did, so my mom also likes ghost things a lot, and she like found these ghost hunters in Maine, and so they sell tickets to like these ghost hunts and walks with them, and so they go to a bunch of different places that are supposedly haunted and shit like that. And so one place we went, this is the second time we went with them, and like it wasn't that great because we didn't have many experiences, but it was this old like schoolhouse sort of thing, like one of those meeting houses from, you know, colonial days, I'd say. And so it was one of those, and it was like the town over from where I grew up. And so we went there, and there were some people from the time before we had gone. That's the more exciting story, so I'm going to tell that one next.
What, like the same ghost hunters, or like?
Yeah, okay. Same ghost hunters, different location.
Gotcha.
So this one we went there, and so you got to use the tools. Like these ghost hunters, like they bring a bunch of tools, they tell you how to use them, and then they let you take them and go off on your own. Some of you can go with them. Like really depends on what you want. But so it took some tools, and like there was one point where we were upstairs, and like the like spirit box sort of thing kept saying witch, and I was like witch, and then I was like, oh, what's
somebody
happening?
Calling me a dirty witch? Pardon, sir. That's impolite.
And there was a woman there who was like, maybe it's talking to me, I'm a witch. And then there was another woman there who was like, maybe it's talking to me, I'm a witch. And I was like, is there going to be a battle
maybe
here?
Maybe it's talking to me because I'm a witch. And I'm better than both of you.
But I was like, what is going on? And so that kept happening. And they were hogging everything. I was like, okay, this is rude as fuck. I just want to have a fun time.
It's so funny, so too, because people that are like witches are like, you know, you're either like Wicca witch, or you're like, you know, my family passed down like witchcraft from like hundreds of years ago, which I'm like, that's a really cool thing to me. I don't know, I nerd out over that. And then you have people that are like, I'm a baby witch, and I'm like, what does that mean?
Right.
What does that mean?
Please elaborate.
Please elaborate. What is a baby witch? Did you just revert back to a 2-year-old? Like, what does this mean? I know it probably is like a baby gay, like somebody that just came out, but I'm like, I'm like, why do you identify as a baby? I mean, it's cute. Don't get me wrong. It has that baby energy, but
yeah, no, it's like, okay. But yeah, so they were like, oh, it could be me. No, it's talking to me. And I was like, what's going on? And then the people are like, we're going to do a Ouija board afterwards if anyone wants to stay.
Fuck that.
And I know. And I was like, Mom, let's do it. I was like mostly joking though. And my mom has a terrible experience with the Ouija board. So she was like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
So we left.
Under no circumstances should anybody ever use a Ouija board. Like, you're just, there's other ways to contact spirits, safer ways to contact spirits.
Right?
Like, there's really no need. Like, you don't have to do it. You don't.
God, yeah, no.
What's your mom's experience, if you don't mind me asking?
So she would not tell me until she was a certain age.
Yeah.
And this will tell you why. So I would always ask, she'd be like, no, don't use a Ouija board. If you ever use one, which you shouldn't, don't do it in this goddamn house. And so, I was like, why? She's like, I have an experience. She's like, I'll tell you one day, but not today. And so she and her friends, when they were in school,
Sorry, that's my
played with a
dog.
Ouija board. And so someone brought a Ouija board to school. And so they were doing it. And my mom, I don't know why the fuck, but she was like, how am I gonna die?
Oh, no.
And so it said a knife, and then she was like, when? And then I think it said like, what did it say? It was 40 something. It was something.
It was like
something
at her
that she's past the
age.
age now.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so she was like, fuck no. So she would not tell me about it until that had passed, until she'd become that age.
Dude, because I would freak out. I would be like, my mom's gonna die at 47. Oh my god, we only have 2 more years together. Like,
exactly. And I asked her, and so it was like, you're gonna die by a knife at this age. I was like, did you have any close calls? She's like, not that I can think of. I was like, well, Jesus, that sounds terrifying. She was like, it was honestly probably one of my friends fucking around.
well,
but
it could have also just been the spirit fucking with you, because like with a Ouija board,
fair.
you don't know who you're contacting. Like, you can go, oh, Grandpa George, and it's like anybody could lie and be like, yeah, I'm your Grandpa George. Like,
yeah, it's me.
It's me. It's me, your grandfather. And then they'll tell you something terrible, like, you're gonna die in a week or something.
Right.
Because, like, it's Ouija boards, like, for just a really bizarre analogy for you guys, it's kind of like grabbing somebody off a train at random, tying them to a chair, and interrogating them.
Damn, that is a good analogy.
You're just grabbing the closest spirit, and the closest spirit is not always the person you were trying to contact. And they're not always happy about it. Actually, most of the time they aren't, because it's like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm going about my day. Why are you trapping me here? To talk to your ass.
Why have I been snatched?
Yeah. To talk to your dumb ass, to answer your dumb questions.
Oh my god. Yeah, so she was like, nope, we ain't doing that. And so, understandably, when she told me that story finally, I was like, that's fair. I wouldn't have told the story or wanted to deal with a Ouija board ever again.
Yeah.
So the other one we went to with that same group of people was actually before this one, but this was the more exciting one, so I figured I'd lead up to it. And so this one was at like an abandoned mill, and I don't even remember the town, but I remember they would tell us, they're like, oh, a common spirit here is this little girl named Cody or something. And so we looked it up later on, and that was the girl's last name.
Yeah, because
she
it's
was
like a very
13.
strange girl's name at the time. Like, now there are plenty of women named Cody, but like in the 1800s, not really.
Exactly. And so we looked it up later, my mom and I did, and so her last name was Cody. I think she was like 13, and she was like murdered in the forests nearby, and I think it was in some like ritual-y sort of thing.
Love those cults.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like another teenager who's trying to like prove himself to Satan or something. Yeah.
You know what's wild to me is that there are cults that date back to like before, like into like BC times.
Oh,
and they're like high control groups, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, why wouldn't there be? But like, my brain's like, I couldn't fathom that, because I think of it as a modern day problem.
True. No, I actually did. I have multiple books, and I like to learn about the ancient ones for fun. I'm the cult queen. And so I have a couple books on the ones in ancient like Greece and stuff like that. But they've dated as far back as I can't remember, a long ass time. Way before that though, like a couple thousand BC. Is what we've seen proof of. Which doesn't mean it didn't happen before.
I mean, it's not neat, because I'm sure like they're not great, but not really great to be forced into a cult. But cool research.
Oh gosh. Yeah, exactly. So she was supposed to be a common ghost, and like, you may come in contact with her. Every time we've come here, we've contacted her. And so we went, and they had all these tools again, like the spirit box, an EMF detector, like things to pick up EVPs, like all kinds of stuff. They had all the stuff. And so
all the things.
they had all the things. So at one point we were using the spirit box, the one that has like, or whatever, that has all the waves It like goes through the wavelengths.
It's like
So
it switches radio stations really, really quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how I feel about those. I never used one though, so
yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah, no, they're interesting. So it's just I don't like the loud noise. Like
Yeah,
I
it
get it,
stresses
but
me out because I would watch like BuzzFeed, not Unsolved, but it was like the BuzzFeed Supernatural one.
yeah.
And I think his name was Ryan. He was a shorter one because there's a short one, there's a really tall one. And the short one always liked to have like the spirit box thing. And like
Yeah.
even if it wasn't saying anything at all, it would stress me the fuck out and it would
Oh
scare me
yeah.
because it just is like
Right. I didn't like it. I didn't love it. So we were doing that, and there was one woman there who was holding it, and a lot of stuff was coming through. It was like a year, something about a car, something I don't know, something that made her think like, oh, this is my brother coming through.
Yeah.
Like,
which is like
oh, he
so
died.
random. Like you're looking for a little girl and it's your brother.
Right.
Like,
And they're like, and they did tell us that like sometimes relatives will come forward.
it's because your
It's like
relatives
especially
are attached to you usually. They go
right.
with you places. So
Exactly. So she was like, yeah, my brother, he died in a car accident this year, or not this year, but he's like the year it said, like, and she was like saying some stuff. I can't remember all the specifics, but I was like, oh, that's pretty nifty. And she seemed very happy about the contact. So I was like, good for her.
I mean, like, I'm all for giving people closure, but I'm also like doing spirit reading or like not spirit readings. Fuck, I'm tired. Tarot card readings, or like contacting past lives or like spirit guides for people. I'm like, okay, are you sure that this is a connection? Because like,
right, or are you making
one happen? Because like, I don't want to make you feel like you're talking to your dead grandmother when it's like just something completely unrelated, or like,
right,
you're reaching.
Exactly. Yeah, no. So I don't know if it was like legit or not. You know, she felt better afterwards, so I was like, either way, works.
Yeah.
So there was also like a basement-y area in this mill, and so we went down. They would take us down in groups because it was kind of small and they didn't want to crowd it. Plus, that probably would make it more difficult to be like, this seems like a supernatural occurrence, opposed to, oh, there's a million people in here. That noise is probably someone who is just here.
Yeah.
And so they would tell us, they'd be like, okay, if you go to take pictures, make sure you take a bunch in the same place, like right one after each other, so that you can kind of see if something's in it. You can easily be like, okay, this was in the last two, so it's probably just there. It just looks weird, or this wasn't in any of them, and this is super out of place, sort of thing. And so my mom was taking pictures on her phone, and so she took a bunch of pictures in the basement at like this dark area, and then all of a sudden in one of them there was this big misty ass like apparition. And I know it was creepy. And so she showed them and they're like, oh damn. So I can see if she still has that.
I would love to see that. I would get chicken skin for it, but like I'd like it.
Hell yeah. No, I'll text her and see if she has that like on the computer or something.
Yeah.
Because I know she has a different phone now than she did then.
I know somebody sent me one recently that was similar, that like it was up in the crawl space, like of her attic, or it's not called a crawl space, is it when it's above your house? I don't know, man.
No, it's a crawl space.
Okay. Yeah, because I guess you crawl in it, so you know there was something crawling in it, and I like. She's like, "There's nothing there," but like I get a bad feeling from this area, and she sent me a picture, and it was like a little like face like crouching in there.
I would straight up yeet out of that house.
Little like Pete's.
No,
and I was like,
no.
I was like, yeah, don't don't go over there. I don't know how to get rid of it, but just leave it alone.
That is, I don't like that. Oh my god,
that's always my suggestion. I'm like, leave it alone. Put a protection on yourself. I don't know how to get rid of it.
Stay away.
I don't know how to get rid of it, so it's just gonna be there. But you can take some proactive measures to not.
Oh my gosh,
not get bothered.
Ugh. So she had that picture, which was pretty snazzy, but it was also like, what? And so, halfway through, they gave us a break, and we went out to the car, I think, to just like get it because we brought some snacks or something. So my mom and I went out, and something. It might have been my iPod or something was in the glove box.
Mhm.
And so in order to lock the glove box, you got to use the key. And it's honestly, her glove box is kind of hard to lock. And so we were like, I went to grab either my iPod or something out of there, and I like opened it, or I tried to, and it was completely locked. It's never locked before on its own, anything like that. We sure as fuck didn't lock
I'm
it.
sorry, my mom is really thumping around back there.
It's all good. And so we tried to lock it. Was very weird. So that was a weird occurrence. Like, don't know if it had anything involved with it, but like that shit would not unlock. We didn't lock it. It was just completely no, it wasn't jammed or anything. It was straight up locked. Um, and so my dad had to like unscrew and take the whole
Oh my
glove
god,
box
you couldn't
out.
even like get it
Yeah.
unlocked with the key?
No, the key wouldn't unlock it either.
Ugh. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Me neither.
Ugh.
So that was a weird one.
Ever's house has something we call the sock goblins or the sock gremlins. No, they're goblins.
What the fuck?
Because
I don't like that.
she has a lot of spirit activity in her house because her sister just
Yeah.
like opens portals all the time, and I'm like, stop. But they'll just take socks, and they'll like disappear,
Lord.
or like you'll say like, I can't find my iPad, and you'll check the spot that you put it down in like a million times, and then
Oh my God.
like you'll go back to the same spot that you originally checked, and it'll be there. And like I've witnessed this before, where like Ever will be looking for something, and she'll check underneath like a pillow, and then it won't be there.
Yeah.
She'll put it down. We'll search the whole house, and we'll come back, and it's there, and we're the only ones home.
Oh my gosh.
Like, no.
That's so weird. Ugh.
I don't like it. It happens very often too.
Jeez, I'd be frustrated. I'd be like, all right, give it to me. I'm in a rush.
Yeah, like I mean, I think her parents and her sister has like a system for it now for getting their shit back. But like,
Gotcha.
I haven't been there in a long time,
That's
so
funny.
I don't know how the sock goblin situation is going.
Right. That's funny though. Excuse me. Jeez. All right. So we took our little break and then we went back in, and our squad was using the spirit box thing again. And so there had been this giant ass statue of Jesus, because there was just a bunch of random shit. It was basically being used for storage.
Yeah.
And so there's a big statue, and it was sitting in this certain place, and it was facing out. And then we were on the spirit box, and we were far away, and like in order to move that thing, you would need multiple people. It was super heavy, and it's not like you'd be able to lift it. You'd be dragging it, and you'd hear it if it was being moved.
Yeah. Like it was like a solid stone statue.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't hollow or anything. It was solid as hell. And so we were using the box, and just the word Jesus kept coming through, and we're like, what? And we're like, okay, like, you know, sometimes ghosts say religious type things. So
especially if they were religious in life, and it was like you're on a historical site, and they were like devout Catholics or Protestants or something. Right. Makes sense.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, I don't know why I keep saying Jesus, but I'm not thinking anything of it. And then we walked back, and when we passed the Jesus statue, it was facing a completely different direction and sitting in a completely different place.
Ew.
And we were all close enough, and none of us had left the group. Like, we were all right there, and we were all close enough that we would have heard it if someone had moved it.
Yeah.
So I didn't love that. That was creepy.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's nasty.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Also, like, think about how strong it must have been to move
That's
that.
True.
Like,
to move that bitch. Oh, God.
Because, like, small things go missing here all the time. And, like, really small things get moved or pushed off shelves. Like an empty plastic cup or something.
Right.
But to move, like, a big-ass stone statue, like...
Right. Nope. So that was pretty much what happened at the mill. And so my final spooky story has to do with a play I went to. So
the theater,
the theater,
if you will.
So Steven's favorite book is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. And so there was like a schoolhouse the next town or two over from where I grew up that was like a community thing. So like adults could be part of it, kids, teens, anything. And so this was a mostly like young adult production. But it was the meeting house, so literally anyone could be part of it. And so we were like, okay, I'll take Steven there as like a little surprise because he loves the book.
Yeah.
And he's not much of a reader. So we went there, and this was like a month or so, maybe 2 after I got Rudy. And so Rudy, and he came from a program, so he's like super on
He's
it,
like
on top of
100%
it.
done with his shit.
Right. And so he's a professional working man. And so we went, and they were like, oh yeah, you can, there are tickets, like there are seats everywhere, you can sit pretty much wherever you want. And so we decided to sit on the absolute front, and it was floor seats, and so the stage was just the floor basically.
Yeah, there was
so
no separation between the stage and the seating.
Exactly. Yeah. So we were basically on the edge of the stage.
Yeah, eye level with these bitches.
Exactly. And so I was like, let's sit here, but let's be nice and close. And so so that place didn't really have a backstage. They had like the curtains for the wings.
Yeah.
But basically it was so that you could briefly go off, and there was like room enough for one person.
It was really just to like hide somebody until they go on stage.
Exactly. And so no one was back there. And we know this especially because like after like the play started, nobody came from back there.
Yeah.
And
it would have been pretty obvious that there was somebody there.
Right. And so the backstage that was like, or what was used as the quote backstage, was basically just this very large closet off to the side. And so we're just sitting in the front seat or like, sitting in the front row and just chilling, and Rudy's laying down. And then I don't hear anything. No one hears anything. And then all of a sudden, bitch whips his head up, stares straight at the middle of the stage where no one is, nothing is, just some props. And he suddenly lets out a bark, and I was like, oh! I was like, Rudy! And
you're supposed to be a professional, sir.
Right. And so I was like, excuse you. I'm like, you've never done this. What the fuck? And so he just kind of, after that, seemed kind of on edge, and like was always looking around and like staring at that same spot. And so we went back out, and we're like, okay, can we change our seats? So we changed to like farther back. And like I was suddenly got weird feelings. So I was like, oh, I don't like this. So I just had Rudy do DPT, and he kept looking around, and we ended up leaving early because it's like neither of us were enjoying it, because like, Rudy was creeped out and I was stressed.
And and so I've been places before, like we went to the Biltmore house in North Carolina with Ivar, and he was a total asshole, and I hated my entire time there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you're not having a good time. So and so after that, Steven doesn't believe in ghosts, but after that I contacted my friend so we did tech in high school, and she also did it for this like schoolhouse. I never did anything for them, but she did it. So I contacted her. I was like, do you know anything about this? I was like, because Rudy was acting real weird, and I got weird feelings. And she also doesn't really believe in ghosts or anything. She was like, oh, well, it is supposedly really haunted. And I was like what?
Pardon? And like I would freak out because like I know you had just gotten Rudy, so it's like you didn't know him as well. But like,
right.
And like I probably, if I had only had Ivar for that long, it probably would have been like, okay, he's being a dick. But like now that I know his personality, I'm like, I would shit myself because he never barks at anything. Like if he barks, like something is wrong. Like somebody hit him, somebody stepped on him, like somebody is actively trying to hurt him. That's like the only time he's ever really barked.
Right, exactly. And so I was like, the fuck? Because the thing is, he was staring at nothing. He was perked up. He was focused. If I said his name, he would kind of like twitch his ear like, oh, I hear you. But he's like, I'm not looking away from this spot. Like something's there.
Really
and I was
unsettling.
Yeah, I was like,
And like Rudy
because
doesn't
he's
bark.
good at refocusing.
Yeah, and he doesn't bark like ever. I don't even think he barked when he and Ivar were playing.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
Ivar was making the husky noises at him, and he was just like, okay. And I'm like,
he's like, I'm having a good time.
And I'm like, Ivar, it's amazing he hasn't bit your ass for making those noises. Because I don't know if I've ever shown you like a clip of my dog playing with my dad, but he makes these sounds that make him sound like he has like he's a feral dog with like rabies or something.
That's funny. Oh my god.
And it always scares me because I'm like, holy shit, what are you doing? And I'll tell him to out, and he'll just walk away, and he's fine. And I'm like, okay, so you're just excited, and that's I guess
like, I'm just having a good time.
I guess that's the noise you're choosing to make. It sounds really aggressive.
Oh my gosh, that's funny though. What a crazy
No
man.
wonder he has no dog friends though. Like honestly, I was really surprised Rudy wanted to play with him after hearing those noises.
Rudy's like, yee, let's do it.
Yeehaw, let's go. And I'm working on resocializing him right now because we don't have any stable dogs here for him to play with.
Yeah. Fucking Eddie.
Yeah, and Eddie's like ruined him. So like we're going to hang out with his trainer in a weekend or two to like resocialize him to dogs and like I'm like, before I hang out with you guys ever or like stay with you in New Hampshire, I'm like should probably make sure he's cool with dogs first and can like
brush him back up.
Be chill.
Fair. But yeah, so I was shook and I was like, meh. And then when she told me, she was like, yeah, it's supposed to be haunted. I was like, make what? I was like, oh, well, that explains it. But yeah, so I don't have many ghosty stories, but those are the ones I do have, and they're interesting a little bit.
I like them. I think they're nice. Yeah. I mean, not really,
I'm
but like, they're good.
At least they're not like demonic or anything.
Yeah, like nobody got possessed. I mean, possession is really, really rare anyway, so.
Nobody got scratched either.
There you go. I've seen 2 people with spirit scratches. One of them was Ever's sister. Ugh. One of them was a roommate when I was going to school in Washington. And like both times it was like with Ever's sister, it was on her back in a way that she wouldn't have been able to like do it herself. And she had like handprints that were like burned almost on her. And it was like scaly. Ugh. And I was like, ugh. And I'm like, okay, there's no way she could have done this because first of all, who does that in their sleep? Second of all, like, she is pretty much home with her mom the whole time. So, like, her mom would have seen that happen if she had done that to herself.
True.
So, and then my other friend, like, got scratched in her sleep by a spirit that was in the dorm. And it was, like, all the way down her calf. And it was, like, had gone on, like, both sides.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was, like, the way that it was scratched, I'm like, you couldn't have... I mean, it would have been really hard to do that to yourself, and your roommate would have seen it happen.
That's that's wild.
Like,
damn,
don't like that. Don't like that at all.
Nope. Glad I didn't have those experiences.
And I saw the spirit that did it. It was an old lady that had like the beady eyes, like in Coraline.
Yeah,
with, like strawberry-ish blonde hair, and I'm like, ooh, I don't like that at all.
Like, could you not
do that? that whole place was like so haunted. Like around December, around Christmas, like it got really bad, and I was like, why is this happening?
Right. Damn, it was like, be cheerful, please.
It's Christmas.
It's the holidays.
We're about to go home for the holidays. Leave us the fuck alone.
Oh my god. Yeah, so those are my ghost stories. Glad you liked them. But yeah, we had some good stories today. I'm hoping next week I'm gonna try and do something Halloween-esque or spooky or something.
I gotta pick a Halloween story. Halloween.
Hell yeah.
Story. I don't know if I have. I'm sure I have some because we used to have like Halloween traditions.
Could honestly even just be spooky or weird.
I mean, I used to get into shit every year on Halloween. Like it was like a tradition that like we would go. And get into something. And I need to ask Ever because I was a little drunk for a lot of that. So
I was a little drunk for a lot of that.
Yeah.
Wow, mood. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope you guys like the story as much as Danny did. And also shout out to our patron of the week, Mama J.
Patron of the year. Our patron
of the year. Our patron queen. if you would like to become the patron of the week, feel free to hit up Patreon and donate a grand old $5. You don't even have to do it for more than 1 month if you don't want to. Boom, $5 and you're a patron of the week.
100% chance of being patron of the week.
Exactly. Then 50-50 after that.
Hell yeah.
And so to find our Patreon, you can find it in the link in our Instagram bio, which is You Don't Look It Podcast. And if you want to find pretty much the link to any of our things, whether it's our Patreon or Facebook, whatever, that is in our Instagram bio, the link in our bio. We also, if you're a patron, we have Discord for patrons only, a Facebook group for patrons only. We're looking to add more tiers when we get more patrons. So
I've got some
hit us up with
stickers coming. I know I keep saying I got stickers coming, but I've gotten back into sketching again. I'm trying to force myself to sketch at least once a day, even if it's really ugly. So, ta-da!
So guys, you got stickers coming.
Got stickers coming. When I get good ideas. Maybe hot sauce. We made a bunch of hot sauce that we're trying to sell. It's called Superstition Sauce.
Oh,
and it's made with ghost peppers and garlic. And
Lord,
yeah, no, it's good. And I'm like, maybe I'll just sell that on the Patreon. Patron of the week.
I feel like my brother would like that.
Oh, I'll send you a bunch. Stuff. We make 3 different kinds, and we started selling it to a local restaurant. And
oh, really nice.
It's really spicy. So
that's crafty. Oh, I hate spice. But I'll tell Steven too, because he likes some spice.
And we grow all of it in our own yard. Like we're growing our own garlic. We grow our own peppers.
Well, shit, that's pretty majestic.
Our own tomatoes. So
guys, if you want some hot sauce, get on that Patreon and become a patron. If you want to hit us up with any suggestions for stories or even share your own stories, we'd love to do like listener stories. Then you can contact us on Instagram. You can even email us at youdon'tlookitpodcast@gmail.com. Either one works, so whatever works for you. Email would probably see it faster, but I would still see them both either way, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, I feel like that's it.
Yeah,
I think so. Well, we'll be back at you next week with some more spooky shit for Halloween.
Hell yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye.